Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and with us as always is co-host and obviously resident expert at basketball, Tate Mathews. Tate, we had fun last week at our draft. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. More likely, we'll probably argue about it, but let's talk about some other things first. Baseball, right now it's coming down to the wire, Tate, in District 11 AAA. Brentwood right now 9-3, 8-2, beat Spring Hill 10-1, 6-1 in their series, has Page this week. Centennial 8-9, 4-6, lost to Franklin 5-3, and Stewart's Creek 7-3, has Ravenwood this week. Franklin right now got a couple wins. They're still struggling a little bit, 4-14, 2-10. Coach Whipple's group, they're going to have to make me believe, as I told them, it's going to be a tough out in the district tournament. Still believe that. They can get things turned around. They did split with Centennial this week. 5-3, but lost 7-4. Has Summit this week. Independence. Let's talk about them just for a moment. 17-2, 8-2. They finally get their first loss against Dixon of all teams, right? But that goes to show. Coach Kirby was talking about to me earlier last week, talking about anybody can win this thing. It's not like other sports. Baseball, you can always have a shot. Dixon's really good. They're not a terrible baseball team. Independence is still currently ranked number 2 in all the polls across the state right now in AAA. They lost to Dixon 8-7, but they split with Summit 9-0, lost 6-5 in a situation where you thought they won the game where they didn't pitch Hassel. They lose the game where they did pitch Hassel.
Yeah. I mean, they're that close. And the thing, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but that was, I know. So they win the first Summit game 9-0. They were up, I believe, 4-0 in the game that they lost. So not sure what happened, but obviously the Summit bats came alive and fell 6-5. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to come down to, I think there's 4 teams that are clearly ahead of the rest of them, but I think there are 5, that 5 and 6 team can definitely cause a lot of trouble come tournament time. And it seems like Brentwood's really the defending state champions. It seems like they're really starting to play some really good baseball right now.
We'll look at the potential matchups in the district tournament in just a moment. Page 9-7, 5-5. They split with Dixon 8-4, lost 2-0, and lost to CPA as well 3-0. They have Brentwood coming up this week. Ravenwood 14-6, 6-4, lost to Spring Hill 9-8, and Stewart's Creek 7-3, but they bounced right back, beat Nolensville twice 10-0, 6-4. They have Centennial this week. You look at Coach Teddy Craig's group. Centennial right now, kind of up and down. I envision them winning probably both these games to put themselves right there in the thick of things, what you're talking about, finish out the year 8-4 for Coach Teddy Craig and the Ravenwood Raptors.
You would think so, but Centennial, they're one that when they play well, they can knock off one of those top teams, and they have done it. So they're going to have to show up and play.
I just gave Centennial some
love
and some locker room fodder right there. They can take this, what I said, and go out and attempt to beat Ravenwood. Summit 12-4, 7-5. They split with Indy, like we said just a moment ago. Lost 9-0, but won 6-5. McIlvain right now, I'm uncertain, but I'm pretty certain that he's not pitching currently. Trying to get himself back into healthy status to do the pitching part. But they have other arms there. Coach Chad Kirby and the Summit Spartans. What's their prognosis going into district tournament?
Well, when they get him back on the mound, they've got 3 legit arms. So tournament baseball, that's very good. And you got to think anytime McIlvain's on the mound, they are the heavy favorite, right? So, but that's just what are his teams always made of? They're going to be tough, right? I mean, and you hear that term in baseball, and it's not the same thing as what you would think in football, but he'll have them ready, and when those 3 pitchers are all healthy together, I don't know that anybody has. Ravenwood, I think, has 2 that match up. Indy has 2 that match up, but I don't know that anybody has 3 like they do. And, they're used to playing really well in the tournament. They're going to be ready. So I wouldn't want to see them in the district tournament.
Speaking of district tournament, 11 AAA baseball. Let's look at this matchup real quick. Currently, right now, at 8-2, both Independence and Brentwood. Brentwood has Page and Centennial left. Indy has Ravenwood and Spring Hill left now. Indy has that tiebreaker right now. So sitting in first place is Independence. If they can take care of business with those 4 games left, even if they go 2-2, maybe 3-1, you got to think that Independence is going to move on as the district champions and get that bye, automatic region bye. So let's assume, let's play hypotheticals, if you will, that they get that bye. Sitting in second place right now, Brentwood, Summit 7-5. So that means with Page and Centennial left, 4 games left, Brentwood would literally have to lose 3 of those 4. Do you see that happening?
No.
So you think I don't see that happening. No. So I think that Brentwood has second place going in as the number 1 seed. Well, pardon me, going in as that second seed after you look in, past the Independence part of getting the bye. Summit 7-5. They have the Franklin Series left, 2 games left. What do you think there? As you look into your crystal ball.
Yeah. I think 1, 2, and 3 are pretty set.
All right. Ravenwood 6-4. They have Centennial, Indy, and Page all left. Think about that. That Ravenwood Indy series is very, very big. Interesting. If Brentwood can finish that out like you mentioned, they can finish 12-2. Did I do my math on that right? 12-2, and Independence gets in there in that Ravenwood series and loses one of those. Brentwood could be your district champion.
Yep. And like we talked about, that's a guaranteed trip to the sectionals, sub-state, whatever we're going to call it. And that's big, man, because this tournament's going to be tough.
Hang on, you're getting ahead of yourself just a little bit. You said it's automatic because of the fact of who they're going to match up with in the region?
No, I didn't mean to say, region tournament. I'm sorry. District tournament, district regular season, automatically in the region.
Automatically in the region.
Right. Which last year, Brentwood wouldn't have, had they not been regular season, and they're the
got beat
AAA
the first round.
Right, so it's a big deal.
And then they match up with the Metro League.
And that'll be not a big deal.
And you're pretty much saying that's automatic by.
Mike Morrison at Overton does a really good job.
Okay, so we're going to knock on
as long as you stay away from Overton, which even then it's
So we're looking at that as it winds down. Page 5th, Spring Hill 6th, Centennial 7th, Dixon 8th, Franklin 9th. So that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. You're going to have whoever that regular season champ is. That's why this game, you're coming down to the wire. Ravenwood Indy in the last week of your regular season. Winner pretty much is going to take all to go for the district championship right there, and you know what's online. How awesome is that series? I mean, you got Carter Sales right there, a Arkansas signee for Ravenwood. You've got Robert Hassel on the other side. I'm just naming one from each. Obviously, they got more than just those 2 guys.
Exactly.
But how awesome
you could have those 2 on the mound together going against each other.
Both SEC players.
That's right. That's some strong arms. That's some firepower right there.
So it's going to be fun to see how this plays out. On the softball side, Brentwood 15-6, 4-0 right now in district play. They beat Indy 6-2, and they knock off number 1 team in the state, Siegel, undefeated 2-0. Also beat Creekwood 2-1 in the Raptor Classic this weekend. It was shortened due to the weather. They have Franklin and Centennial left. I'm pretty much sure that Erica Powell right now at Brentwood could wrap this thing up. Now, Page, 4-2, 11-3 overall, lost to Dixon and Spring Hill. That really hurt them. If they could have won those 2 games, you're looking at a collision course for those 2 guys to see who's going to win first place. But Independence, don't sleep on them, 5-2 right now. So, same thing goes to them. This is a kind of a 3-dog race right now between Independence, Page, and Brentwood. Who stands out to you as the wow out of those 3?
Oh, Brentwood.
Still?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't, to me, and I'll tell you why. It's not that I don't want to diminish what Brentwood and Erica Powell's done. They were there last year. Kind of expected them coming back.
I thought you meant like who's the wow team.
Well, I still think the wow factor for me right now is Independence, just because of where they were, what job Shane Buchanan has done. Now, don't sleep on this Page team, though. I really think this Page team, Jenna Johnson, really, really good team out there. Of course, we'll discuss these later as we're discussing the Wilco finalist, Hannah Koenig, a great pitcher for Brentwood High School.
She's a good bat, too.
And Jalen Chesson for
Well, the Page, you talk about the loss to Dixon County and Spring Hill. With those wins, they had a chance to really wrap up second place. Now they've let Independence have it. They beat Independence earlier in the year, but now this gives Independence a chance to end up second place, which would be huge in this district. So, but yeah, I think you look at Independence, what Coach Buck's done since he's got there. We knew it was going to happen, but he's already got them competing. I don't think they're going to. Nobody's going to catch Brentwood, but competing for a district championship. And then Page, their first year in AAA, and Coach Hale's got them competing for a district championship. So yeah, I think they're both the wow. I think if you mean who's the team where who's got the
who's got the best opportunity to get deep for us?
Brentwood.
Yeah.
And I think Siegel, they had one loss, 22 wins, something like that. But they haven't played the schedule that Brentwood's played, and I think that's a big part of it.
One team I failed to mention earlier on the baseball side, Nolensville, Coach Zach Hudson. Right now, they're 12-9, 5-1. More importantly, they're 5-1 in District 11 AA play. They're sitting in first place right now
by themselves.
By themselves,
yeah.
They've got at least a game and a half on Giles County. They've got Forest and Central Magnet series left. If they can be 500 or better in that series, I think they're going to wrap up winning district championship on that side.
I do too. And you look at their 12-9. They're hovering a little bit above 500. Well, why? We'll go back and look at the schedule they played.
2 losses this past week to Ravenwood.
Ravenwood, yeah. And the second one, they played them much closer and had a chance to beat them. I think if you go back and if you'll rewind the tapes, go back and get on the schedules. Remember how basketball, West Lambert and the Knights, they were right around 500 overall schedule because they played a bunch of AAA teams, and then they got to the tournament, right? Made it all the way to sub-state. I think you're going to see something very similar with baseball. They've played a tough AA schedule, and Coach Hudson's sitting there in 2 of his top 3 arms, sophomores.
Good for him, though. I mean, that's the way it needs to be done, and that's what I've tried to reiterate with both the girls and boys basketball coach, Coach Ladd, and those guys, and say, look, keep playing those tough schedules. Keep playing the Franklins. Keep playing those. Because within 2 years, you're probably going to be in that district anyways.
Right.
So you might as well get ready for it. But when you face these teams, and then you go out and you face Forest, Community, Giles County, teams of that nature, Murfreesboro, Central Magnet.
Forest and Central Magnet are pretty strong.
No, you're going down a path that I'm just trying to tell you. You're not going to see anybody that's going to be.
No.
You're not going to see too many SEC kids on on those lineups.
Nope. I'm excited. I think if they made it to Murfreesboro second year, which I think they have a chance, that'd be unbelievable.
All right, real quick, before we go into the basketball conversation and before we go into Wilco's conversation, I'd like to take a moment just, spring football, man. Spring football's happening right now across the collegiate side. Let's just talk about some of our past guys. Tyrell Dotson coming in right now. I think it's interesting to note that Von Miller gave him a shout out on Twitter. That's pretty big. That's big time.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ty shouted him.
Correct.
But Von Miller responded. I thought,
and what was his – all right, first off –
he said, I'm coming for you at Von Miller.
Right.
And Von Miller –
I'm chasing you.
I'm chasing you.
That's that's a respectful way of saying, hey, I want to get his –
I want to be the best to come
I want to be the best to come out of here.
And he sent back, you're already there, brother.
And that's
pretty big.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
So by all ESPN pundits, which we are not, Tyrell Dotson's going to be a high lottery draft pick. You know it's going to happen. I mean, this guy, he's going to play this year. He's going to have a great year. We talked about potentially All-American. I think that's going to happen. If it does happen, you got to think he's got to leave early.
If he's in the first 2 rounds, I would say he will.
All right, looking at BYU. Joe Critchlow coming out of the BYU game as the offensive MVP of that game. Strong,
man. Hey, and that's the thing I like, too, about the way he's done it. He went on a mission trip, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Canada.
So, we're all worried about, we got to graduate early and we got to get there. You're 17. Look at the way he's done it. He went on his mission trip.
He's 20.
That's right. He's mature. He's grown. There's no telling. I mean, when he left Franklin, he was probably 17 years old or had just turned 18, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's had time to mature and let his body, grow. He's a grown man or almost a grown man now, and look what's happening. He was patient. He took his time. He wasn't rushing to get there for spring practice and graduate early, right? No, I'm serious.
No, I agree with you 100%.
And I'm telling you, it's these parents.
Mentally. Think about mentally for a second before you get off in that. Mentally, what do you think it does for him on that maturation process mentally? This kid is going to be
more mature.
He's going to be able to go in. He's going to be able to focus on what's happening. Right. He's going to be able to handle adversity better. If you're not the best player, what does he do? He works. Hey, his opportunity came. He wasn't going in as a starter. Matter of fact, he was 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. We had a couple of injuries. Next thing you know, he starts on ESPN one night, has a good start, finishes the year as starter, Now he's offensive MVP.
Yeah.
And to segue off that, one of my favorite stories to come out of springtime football is former Independence football. This is a great story for anybody. Former Independence quarterback, undefeated, 3,000 plus. If anybody has a chip on the shoulder, it's this kid. Didn't get a lot of looks, didn't get a lot of offers if he got any. Andrew Bunch goes, walks on at Nebraska, and now he's number 2 on depth chart.
No, he did have some offers, but it wasn't the path that he wanted to go.
Right.
Now, most people would, again, going back to my soapbox, most people would have said, I'm not going to a junior college. That doesn't look good. He did. Went to the junior college. Patience, confidence in his abilities, worked his way up, right? Billy Whittemore, my all-time favorite quarterback in the WCS Sports Conference. He was a JUCO guy. He turned out pretty dang good, right? And now here he is at Nebraska. And, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bet against this kid. Nothing in his past would tell me it would be a good bet to bet against him, right? And, man, he's playing for Coach Frost now, Scott Frost, the new head coach there. What an opportunity. So, yeah, that kid, whether he starts or not, he'll find a way to get on the field. But, again, patience, right? Hard work, perseverance.
And we'll have many more stories like that. We're just going to touch on those because they come to the forefront. We'll try to keep everybody in the loop.
That is a great story.
About where are they now? And, what's going on across the WCS Sports Conference football-wise, because obviously it is the sport that keeps everybody afloat and everybody loves it. And it's really interesting to see these success stories. On the baseball side, we're talking about baseball. Bryce Denton, Peoria Chiefs, 66 pick for the Cardinals 3 years ago. Same thing, journeyman right now. Started off as a hot commodity coming out, had a little bit of adversity. Didn't want to. You want to go into this thing, straight into A-ball. Want to go and play that long season. Well, the way they do, they put him in rookie A-ball. Works his way up from the Johnson City tri-areas as the Wheels. That's the name of that team, right? The Wagon Wheels of Johnson City. Then gets bumped up and goes to State College in Pennsylvania. This is still that low A-ball. Then gets bumped up to Peoria, has an appendicitis, and then has to get bumped back last year, first next year. Now he's at Peoria. He's batting .285 right now in about 8 games in. This is going to be his year, the breakout year that he gets maybe a shot to go into AA Springfield. What's after Springfield? Memphis.
Redbirds,
What's after Memphis?
Major leagues.
The show.
Yeah, the show.
And you can have a shot to get to the show. So
That'd be pretty special.
It'd be pretty neat. Tony Kemp's another one of those guys.
Yes.
He is officially on the 40-man roster, but he's at the Fresno Grizzlies, which is a AAA affiliate of the Houston Astros. That's correct. So he will go back and forth, I would say, all year long. It's just a matter of time before Tony Kemp is full-time. So
I can't wait.
I found that pretty interesting. Now, all right, let's talk about our draft real quick. We did our WCS Sports Conference boys basketball 2014 to 15 to present all team. Listen, it couldn't have been more heated on Twitter. We're going back and forth, but this thing completely ends in a draw.
That's unbelievable.
It really is unbelievable.
And there's no, I'm asking, I've already asked you, but there's no way to manipulate that.
I mean, you voted. I couldn't even vote because I'm the one to put the poll up. So
I didn't vote.
I think that
I
means
need to vote.
I think that means I won.
I did not vote. Look it up. I did not vote.
Okay.
So it was a complete stalemate tie.
Complete stalemate,
Wow.
straight up. Now, I
That's
do want to
hard to
mention something.
believe.
Reed Smith, part of that Brentwood team that was so good that went to the state tournament 2 years ago, now playing at Chapman College out in the West Coast, out in L.A., was originally on the list. I mistakenly, when I was transferring those names over, a lot of those coaches, in his defense, a lot of those coaches all put him up on that list.
Yeah.
Just failed to put him, transfer him over onto that master list, which is he is deserving to be on that master list, Reed Smith. Now, talking about the boys draft, you go back, you look at your squad. Any changes that you, if you had an opportunity to go back, would you make any changes?
No.
You stick with your group.
No. Well, had I had the first pick, maybe some things changed. But in the order of this draft, no, absolutely not. And I like my team, and I'm not, I think we've had some discussion on Twitter and had some people commenting. So obviously anybody on this team was better than I was. So this is no disrespect to anybody on this team. I just think my team's tougher. I know my team's tougher than yours. And so I think you're at a real disadvantage. But that's okay. I mean, you got some great players on there.
Please explain. Why do you think they're tougher? Mentally?
I know they are. I know they're tougher.
Well, I'm glad that you know
and
you
especially
are,
down around the paint. So, you've got some you've got you got some shooters and some slashers and all that. But what you don't understand, it's kind of like the Jordan rules back when the Pistons were beating the the Bulls.
So you've got
now.
Bill
Don't forget, I got
team.
Blade. I got dang right. I got Bladorn over there on my bench, getting ready to come off. You know, you're not just driving in there and shooting layups. All right, it's going to be physical.
I can tell you
you're going to know.
I can tell you somebody that will be
You're
driving.
You're going to know.
And
I got
breaking your defense
I got 15
down.
Fouls between my big dudes.
Putting people on skates. I can tell you who will be doing
15
that.
fouls.
My number one pick alone gives you matchup problems all across the
But that's what I'm saying. You think he's just going to drive to the bucket and we're just going to stand there and, oh, gosh,
because you don't have
what a
to.
great shot.
Because what is he going to do? He sees the floor better than anybody that you've got out there. He's going to kick. And who's waiting? Who's waiting for an in-rhythm three?
Well, I'm guessing you're going to go with JC.
No.
Or Teichman?
Well, you got Teichman sitting out there for an in-rhythm three. You've got JC that's going to be slashing too.
Right.
So you've got plenty of slashers. And the minute
The guy who
off,
is the three-point shooter is on my squad.
I get that.
So he's the one who's he can drive and slash too.
and
But
your
he's the
argument-
one. He don't see. That's the beauty of this.
Who's going to be driving on your
Not-
side to get those open
Jalen
shots?
Lawson. We already talked about this.
Okay, all right. I
Jalen
cannot
Lawson
disagree.
is the fastest
I
guy
cannot
on this
disagree
court.
with Jalen Lawson. Jalen Lawson is a great player. Matter of fact, in the emotion, in the heat of the moment, when we did the pick, I probably missed on him. But you know what? Ty Carr's a great defender.
No, wait, hold on, time out. Probably missed. Is that your way of saying you
I'm going to go
were wrong?
I'm going to go. No, I'm just saying a pick. I'm not saying my team. I still love my team. I still love my team.
You know, there's guys on your team I would have loved to have had. There's guys on my team I would have loved that you would have loved to have had.
But
all I'm saying is we are tougher. We're tougher.
Malcolm Walker, you act like he's just going to lay down.
I didn't say that.
Here's the lane.
I did not
by
say
all
that.
means.
I did not say he was not
You
tough.
act like JC in the Naval Academy.
I did not
is gonna
say
be
that.
Like, here, just go.
I didn't say that. I said we are tougher. And my boy LeBrecht, multi-sport guy,
Intangibles.
that tournament run they went on, the end of the season, that cat was playing top.
He was. He was.
That you got to remember, that guy played basketball 3 months a year. If he was a basketball dude, that's what I'm saying. He's the toughest, most physical big man in this draft. He's on my squad. He's mad. He's feeling disrespected.
I did not disrespect him.
I didn't say you did.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Negating the speed of Jalen Lawson, KJ LeSure. Now, how fun, in all honesty, how fun would that be to watch those two go at it?
You could
full
go with
speed,
either one of them.
Full speed.
Right.
I'm just telling you the intangibles.
And then I got my boy Thurman. He's a walking, talking double-double. We got the human highlight film and Glover, little Steph Curry shooting it from anywhere. And here's the deal, man. How many times during this season did he have to create his shot? He doesn't have to do that on this team. He doesn't have to do that. My man Lawson's going to break it down, create it for him, and then it's string music, and you're sitting over there just shaking your head. Oh, don't forget, I got maybe the best pure shooter in the whole draft sitting on my bench. Again, Sigler ain't got to create. He's just got to knock down threes, man.
We can't play a lick of defense.
Didn't say that.
And your team is great defensively.
I got some.
Great defensively.
Can Lawson play defense?
Great defensively.
Can Lawson play defense?
Well, according to several coaches, Boucher being one, he's unheralded at the defensive position. I never said that he couldn't play defense.
That's
Okay,
right.
so keep going. I mean,
Lawson, defender. Glover played great defense this year. Right. Coming up that trailer on that 1-3-1, tapping from behind.
Okay.
All right. Now I don't know
we're not going to be running Jim Boeheim the 1-3-1, right?
And then
did you get that joke?
Yes, I got
Okay,
it. Without a doubt. And then
Jim Boeheim doesn't run the 1-3-1, by the way.
And then I got
who does?
DJ. What are you talking about in college?
Yes.
I don't know.
West Virginia. That's okay. Go ahead.
Is that your boy Huggy Bear?
Yeah, Huggy Bear.
Yeah. So, and then, I haven't even gotten him to Mr. NCAA Tournament A-Sun Player of the Year.
Okay,
Garrison
so
Mathews.
let's go back and talk about that.
I mean, geez, I really am starting to feel even better about my team
Garrison, obviously, right now, currently, if you ranked every player currently where they are right now, Garrison Mathews is the best player on the list. Hands down, not even close, right?
Because he's accomplished more.
Because he's accomplished more in the collegiate side. Right. Now, it's only time will tell where any of these guys show up collegiately, where Grayson Mathews finishes in the OVC, Belmont, and JC plays at Navy. You know, I mean, it's just
What conference are they in? The American.
The American, that's correct, which is not as the strongest of the power conferences, but hey,
They play a tough schedule.
they play a tough schedule. And here's the interesting fact that me and you will be attending next year. The Naval Academy plays at Lipscomb.
We need to go. It's going to be
They
awesome.
know me. We're going.
Yeah.
Now, this has been extremely
No,
fun.
no, let me say this too real quick. Go, and we can rewind the tape. Out of your mouth.
I know. I said the best at this moment.
You said, that's right. And earlier this
You're right.
year, you said that Bladorn could be the best big man to ever come out of here.
Back to the basket post.
And that's what I'm saying.
Garrison
big man.
Mathews is not a back to the basket post.
And he's on my team. So again,
Could be.
I mean,
That's
talking.
a hypothetical.
And we got big guys that can move.
That's a hypothetical.
Now, what I want to know is, we never did. Who's coaching this team? Am I coaching my team? You're coaching your
Well,
team.
that obviously.
And am I allowed to draft an assistant coach?
If that's the case, this thing's over.
I can draft an
Now
assistant
listen,
coach.
I do want to say this before we get it. We got a minute left. I do want to say this.
This is fun.
I love every one of those kids on that list.
Yes.
Whether they're picked or not, I love them all. I think they're fantastic players. They all have so many intangibles. They were so fun to watch. It means a lot to us for them to be on this list. It really does, because this list was selected by the coaches. These guys were nominated by the coaches, and that's big time. And my apologies once again to Reed Smith. He was originally on the list. I don't think it changes my picks, but I'm just saying, if you were on that list, that's big time.
Well, one of the toughest dudes, I think, in the last couple of years is Mac James. What that guy done the past couple of years is unbelievable. So, I mean, you know, and he's not on here. But he very well could have. There's so many of them.
Lots of fun. The only way to settle it, we're going to get these guys in this summer. We're going to play this game.
That'd be neat.
We're going to charge admission. We're going to have WCTV there filming it. It's going to be fantastic, man.
Who's coaching?
Me and you.
All right, well,
Can I
get
get
an assistant?
It's a celebrity game. No assistants. You can't run the
I'm
one.
bringing an assistant down from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, next week we're going to talk Wilco's. We have the finalist list. That's going to be fun as well.
wait.
Good list of folks. We're less than a month away right now. It's hard to believe. Wilco's are right around the corner. Thanks for joining us on WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.
The Franklin Theater has been a cherished hotspot of Williamson County for over 80 years. The venue, launched in 1937 on Main Street in downtown Franklin, invited people to laugh, to cry, and to enjoy the films shown while spending time together. It was the first business in the growing Franklin community to feature in-house public restrooms as well as air conditioning. This generated public interest all over the county. Tickets were 10 cents for children and 25 cents for adults. For the next 70 years, this popular cinema stood the test of time. Regretfully, in 2007, its doors closed due to financial issues and the increasing popularity of larger mega theaters. The people of Franklin were devastated to lose such a beloved landmark. In 2008, to help preserve the city's history, the Heritage Foundation of Franklin and Williamson County
Military
started
life
a
is rewarding,
fundraiser
but it
to
isn't always
purchase
easy.
and
Managing the
rehabilitate
stress
the
can affect
sorely
even the
missed
strongest
cinema.
warrior.
But I
A
can.
large-scale
I
renovation
will
began
stay
several
mission
months
ready.
later.
I can.
With an
I
investment
will keep
of
my
more than
mind
$8
and body
million,
fit.
Talk to
the
my
historic
chaplain.
Franklin
Be there
Theater
to listen.
officially
I
reopened
can, I
June
will.
3rd,
Know the signs.
2011,
Seek care early.
restoring
Talk to my
and
healthcare
updating the heart
provider.
of Main
Be
Street
there
to its
to help,
original glory.
listen, and get you through this.
Today, the
I
Franklin
can,
Theater
I
offers
will
a classic
motivate
movie-going
others.
experience,
Strive for progress,
as well as
not
a venue
perfection.
for
I
plays
can,
and concerts,
I will.
complete
Be there
with
for my
a
buddies,
stage,
no matter
lighting,
what.
and
Be there for
state-of-the-art
our
sound
veterans,
equipment.
no matter what.
The
And I've
theater
got your
even
back.
has several world movie
I can,
premieres to
I
its
will.
name,
Keep
including
my family safe
Elizabethtown
while you're away.
and Friday Night Lights.
Think of you every night.
The Franklin
We're
Theater
in
is a
together.
continual reminder
got
that our
I
Williamson
got this.
County heritage
I got
should
this.
always be
Take the
treasured.
first step. There's no better time than now. Reaching out is a sign of strength. Visit realwarriors.net or call 866-966-1020.